Welcome into a college football week 2 AP poll review, week 3 AP poll review here. A lot of questions with this AP poll. I'm going to go over it. We're going to talk about it here. Texas starts off, Georgia's number 1, easy, slam dunk number 1. But Texas jumps Ohio State at number 2, which is understandable in the fact that Texas just beat a top-ranked team in Michigan. Ohio State hasn't really played anybody. They will have that comparable opponent soon, as Ohio State will play them last week of the season. But this is where I don't like the AP poll, right, with Texas jumping Ohio State, which is 100% fine, but now we have inconsistency in the AP poll, which we had a lot of times, and this starts with, are we grading the teams by resume, or are we grading them based off of power ranking, who would beat who right now? Like, that is the inconsistency. That is what we've seen inconsistent for years and years and years. It's that, yes, if we're grading it on resume, Texas has every right to jump an Ohio State team, right? They have the better win than Ohio State. But if we're going off power rating, there's no reason like a team like Alabama, a team like Ole Miss, a team like Missouri should be 4, 5, 6 right now. They haven't played anybody. They haven't really even played. In fact, Alabama struggled against a USF Group of 5 team. But yet they're still 4, 5, 6. And this is where the so-called SEC bias comes from, right? This is what it is. This is what it is, right? Not what other people are saying that, oh, some people think these teams are better. Because when it comes down to it, these top teams are probably better, right? But this is where the bias comes from, because these teams aren't getting docked for looking like shit, like an Oregon is. These teams aren't getting docked for not playing anybody or having other teams jump them because they're playing better opponents. And that they do this because now when Alabama plays Ole Miss later in the season, it's a 4 versus 5 matchup, and one of them loses, they're not going to get docked as much because they lost to another top 10 team, even though we might not even know if they're a top 10 team or not because they haven't played anybody. That's why it's either you grade everybody on the resume or you grade them on power ratings. I don't like how it's such an in-between in the AP poll. Now, I get it. A lot of these AP poll voters aren't really college football fans. They kind of are just writers that wake up in the morning, they look at the box scores, and they just put 25 teams down. I understand that, and that's all fine and dandy. You can look at probably every AP poll voters actual poll, and there's a lot of interesting votes that they give out. A lot of votes that don't make probably any sense whatsoever. There's probably a voter that has Notre Dame still in the top 10. There's probably somebody out there that does. That's why AP poll voters are all over the place, especially at this time of the year. Let's go over it, though. Texas number 2, that's fine. Ohio State number 3. I think that's probably the best 3 in the country right now. Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, and Tennessee are the top 7. Tennessee deserves to be in the top 10. I would think they deserve to be in over Missouri. I would have that flopped probably. And that means 6 of the top 7 are in the SEC, outside of Ohio State and the Big Ten. This SEC is really good. Like I said this before, I think SEC had a down year last year. This SEC conference this year is really, really good. Like I think all of these guys can make it to the playoffs, all of them. And I think they all deserve, as of right now, if it was today, to make the playoffs. That's kind of wild. Because I think we made this so we didn't always see SEC schools in. And I think we made this so we don't have to fight over who the bubble team is. But I look at this and see 6 SEC teams in, and I think, well, there's only going to be, it's going to be more of a fight for that last spot. It's going to be more of heartbreak for that last spot, I think. And it's going to cause more chaos, and it causes us to expand bigger and bigger. That's all it's going to be. Moving down, Penn State to 8. State's the same at 8. That's fine. I'm glad they didn't get punished for versing a really good Bowling Green team. A Bowling Green team that can easily win the MAC this year. So they went head-to-head with them. They won in the end, but it was a close game. I'm glad they didn't get docked for that. Oregon got docked again, down to 9. They struggled against Idaho, an FCS team, who just beat a Group of 5 team last week in Wyoming. So Idaho's better than that FCS stature they have. And then down to the wire against a Boise State team, who Boise State is the best Group of 5 team in the country. They are probably the most likely team right now to make the college football playoffs. If the Heisman voting was right now, they have a running back in Genty who probably would win the Heisman Trophy. Like that's how good this Boise State team is. And Oregon, they went down the wire with them. That's okay. That's okay. They lost. I mean, they won, but they went down 2 spots. And I think this is all to show that these teams won, unlike a Notre Dame team who went down to the wire with the okay Group of 5 team in Northern Illinois and ended up losing. But yet they're still 18th on this list. I don't know. And it doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't be live for a college football playoffs. There's people out there saying if they go undefeated, they are, which they shouldn't be. You lost to arguably, that's going to be the worst loss on any top 25 team's resume there is. That's going to be the worst loss, period. So they shouldn't be able to make it. Miami 10, I think, is right. I think that is a top 10 team. LSU 11, I have no problems with that. Utah 12, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. No problem with that. And then you get to Oklahoma and LSU. I would have LSU over Oklahoma probably. That's fine. Then you get to this Michigan, Notre Dame area of teams that lost. I don't know why they're this high at 17, 18. You have Clemson, who's sitting at 22, which should be over these teams. This is a Clemson team that lost to the number 1 team in the country in Georgia, and that just beat the brakes off of a top 10 group of 5 team in Appalachian State. I don't know how they're 22 and Michigan and Notre Dame is 17, 18, especially a Notre Dame team who just got beat by Northern Illinois. Like, I get it, Michigan lost to Texas, so I can see why they're still in the top 25, but this is a team that lost to Northern Illinois. They're still ranked higher than Clemson. They're still ranked higher than Louisville. They're still ranked higher than Nebraska. That's just crazy to me. Louisville at 19, Arizona at 20. I don't think Arizona's played that great, but I'm not going to hate on them being in here. Iowa State, big win over Iowa in the Cyhawk game. Great rivalry game. I said on the channel, it's always a great game. Go check it out if you haven't. Awesome game. Clemson, 22. Nebraska, finally right where they should be, ranked at 23 for Nebraska. I don't know how the hell Boston College is ranked. How in the hell is Boston College ranked? Can someone please out there answer me this question? You have teams like Illinois that has a win over a top 25 team. And they're not even in here. I get it, Boston College beat Florida State, but Florida State's now 0-2. Like, are we really going to sit here and act like that's a big win for them? I don't understand, especially when the one team they lost to just lost to Syracuse. Like, I think Syracuse should be ranked before Boston College gets ranked. Illinois should be ranked. Boise State should be ranked. I don't know how Boise State's not ranked. They beat a Georgia Southern team, and they just went toe-to-toe with a top 25 team in Oregon, and somehow this team is sitting at 27th right off the top 25 rankings here. That makes no sense. Boise State should be ranked. They should be 24th, and Northern Illinois should be 25th. I'm okay with Northern Illinois being ranked. They just beat the 5th team in the country. They should be ranked. They probably won't stay there for the rest of the season. The Max Weir, those teams beat each other up. I'm sure they're going to lose the games at some point. But I'm okay with them being ranked here. And I just don't know how Boise State's not in this ranking. I don't understand. Boston College, no business, in my opinion. That's the Week 3 AP poll review. I'm Josh Messina. Thank you.